Hello, Manohar. Nice to see you.
Hi, John. Uh, I'm also glad to meet you.
You're over in India, Hyderabad. That's where you live, right?
Yes, I'm from India, Hyderabad.
Now, I've not been to India, but I've read about India quite a bit. Hyderabad is known for its beautiful flowers. Is that true? Flowers everywhere?
No, Hyderabad is basically very famous for the jewels. So the pearls and the jewels, it is very famous.
Okay. You've written three books. I'm looking at them right now on my other screen. But before we get to your books, I really like to know a little bit more about you, your backstory, and let people know who you are and how you got to the point where you write books.
Okay. So, yeah, my name is Manohar, and I'm working in the software industry since the last 15 years. So, right from my childhood, I was always passionate about being an author, but I really didn't knew like what I should be writing about. But it so happened that so there was a Udemy course where the instructor basically talks about how you can be an author based on your experience. So whatever are the experiences in your life, from those experiences you can write your own book. So that actually inspired me, and that is what I did this thing. So my first book is called Virtual Volunteer. So basically what I do apart from my work is also I volunteer with a couple of not-profit organizations. So as part of that, the virtual volunteer was there. So I was volunteering for an activity which is a mentoring activity for, I guess, 7 days. So 7 days, and on each of the 7 days there are different kinds of tasks assigned for those 7 days. And actually I got benefited because of mentoring a person. So I thought, why not I write something from my own experience? And that is where actually I've written the first book called Virtual Volunteering. And the tagline is actually this happened in the COVID time. So social distancing does not mean isolation. So even though because of COVID we had to socially distance ourselves and stay there, right? So but still you could does not mean that you need to be isolated. You can also volunteer and mentor someone. So that was the motto with which I went, and I have written the book of Virtual Volunteer.
I see that was published in December 2020, right in the middle of it all. Now, before COVID, you were volunteering in person. What kind of volunteering did you do before COVID?
No, I was before COVID also, I was volunteering online only, and some in person, but not many in person. Mostly, I was doing online. I mean, volunteering online. So that is so. From my experience of
Oh,
volunteering online itself, I've written this book called Virtual Volunteer.
and how is that book being received by people? Is it selling? It's a short book. It's an easy read, 46 pages of, and I think it's not
Yeah.
available in paperback. It's only available on an ebook, right?
Uh, yeah, I haven't published the paperback on Amazon, but back in here in India, I do have a paperback. Yeah, it's a short read. So it was really appreciated by all my friends because or my colleagues, because I was that was my first book, and that is I mean, like actually what I did was when I launched my first book on Kindle, I made it free for the 5 day period. So you have an option where you can create that book. And in that, actually, a lot of friends and family members, everyone read that book and passed on so many congratulatory messages, because that is the first time they've heard that someone has become an author within their known circle.
That's exciting stuff. And it's written in English, correct?
Yeah.
Do you have
Yes.
the version in the language you speak? There's many languages in India. Which one do you speak?
Yeah, I speak Telugu, but the book
Telugu.
I have written in English only.
Okay, all right. This leads us to one of your other books, 20 Daily Practices to Improve English. I sometimes, when I speak to somebody in a different country like yours, I'm always impressed how well they speak English and think of myself how limited I am by speaking only English, which is not entirely true. I was raised as a Hungarian, and my Hungarian is not very conversational, but you do very
Okay.
well. You want to talk about that book, 20 Daily Practices to Improve English?
So, like I mentioned, John, when I was conversing with people online, so and yeah, like you rightly said, India is a land where there are diverse languages, and actually diverse languages, and also very lot of dialects also. So what happened was, since like I mentioned that I work in the software industry since the last 15 years, so I have to converse in English because English is the common language with which you can converse with your colleagues. And of course, I also have to converse with US and other counterparts who are on the other side of the globe. So for that reason, I have improved on my English. So and yeah, my education also happened in English medium. So what I noticed is many people struggle with English, and the common question they were asking me was, how do I improve on my English? So I'm a firm believer that you can learn swimming only by getting into the pool. So similarly, you can learn English only by practicing English. So that is when the thought came that I should create a practice workbook kind of a thing, which is simple exercises which are easy to follow. And once you do it for 20 days, and yeah, you can improve your language. So that was my so it's like a beginner book to start and improve, and then after that you can take up some other reading other books and all those stuff.
Would you say that this book is good for anyone who is not familiar with English, not just people from India and the diverse dialects and languages there, but anywhere? Would this book be able to help those people as well?
uh, no, I mean, see, it's not that you can't start from. You should have a minimum level of the competency. Like you need to know the alphabets and words and all those things. And once you have that level of competence, so for example, the sentences, if you're able to read, and then if you're able to ask, so the pattern is something like I give a story, and based on that story, I ask some questions. So, or I give a daily usage sentence and I give the fill in the blank kind of a thing. So, something like the pen is on dash the table. Okay, so something like that. So, on the table. So, something, so you should be able to figure out and read some basic words. So, if you have some basic English, and definitely, like you mentioned, it is definitely universal. It's not specifically for the Indian audience at all. But yeah, so you should have some basic prerequisite English.
Yeah. Well, English seems to be the language of the world in business. And as you said,
Yeah.
you have your clients in North America, and you need to speak English, of course. Before that, French was the language of the world. Things change in the world, don't they? Yeah,
Yes, of course.
yeah. Now, another book of yours, completely different subject, one that I'm sure will intrigue people. I've had a little bit of problem with this years ago. It's called My Sleepless Nights, something to do with insomnia. Tell me about that.
Yeah. So this is something which is very close to my heart among all the three books. So this is because actually back in 2019 was when I struggled with insomnia. So I was trying to go to sleep, but I couldn't go to sleep. So I was diagnosed as having anxiety, and I was on anti-anxiety pills also. So from then, how I overcome the challenge. So my book, My Sleepless Night: A Story of Victory Over Insomnia. How I overcame the insomnia is what I have described in the book. So I put it in this way. So it is like how I planted the seed, how I nurtured the seed, and how it grew into a very big uh, tree that really wreaked havoc in my life, and how I uprooted that plant with the practice. So I owe it a lot to the practice of meditation before going to sleep. So before going to sleep, I used to listen to guided meditations and I used to go to sleep. So initially, nothing much happened, but after that, slowly, the anxiety started losing grip over me, and that's how I was able to overcome the tough phase of insomnia. So that is my book called My Sleepless Nights: A Story of Victory Over Insomnia.
Yeah, I suppose anxiety would be a cause for that. I never really thought about it that way, but so it was a matter of getting over the anxiety, and that leads to a better sleep. Yeah.
Yeah.
Were there any other factors like diet or anything like that?
Yeah, definitely. Some other factors like diet also make a lot of difference. So, in fact, when I was struggling with this, before struggling with this phase, I used to have my dinners very late at 8:30, 9 p.m. in the night. So I changed my dinner pattern to 6:30, 7 kind of a thing. So I brought my dinner time way earlier, and that actually helped a little. And definitely some other practices like so I used to do some kind of sketching with my daughter who was just 6 years old. So I used to spend some time with her doing some kind of a sketching and drawing kind of a thing. So that also actually relaxed me a lot. So yeah, and definitely coupled with few other changes like not watching news, spending time, I, yeah, to not involving in so many negative things. And definitely the biggest game changer for me was the practice of meditation. That actually what it actually did is instead of living in the past or in the future, I used to live in the present moment. That biggest awareness change happened. And slowly, like I mentioned, it's not like an overnight change or a linear path that happens. So it takes time, and then the change is exponential.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Did your faith contribute to the calming down?
Yes, I do totally agree with your question. Uh, so it's not that I first tried meditation and uh, just got initial results. So like I mentioned, right? So this is not going to be a linear curve. So it's always going to be like initially you are tested. So I always started meditation. I started few days, and because I couldn't see any result, I immediately gave up. Then I went to hopped on to another form of meditation, started, couldn't see result. I just kept switching one form to the other, but still I was not getting. So, but then later, like I mentioned in my book, I also used to consult a psychologist, and my psychologist told me that it doesn't matter on what form of meditation you stick. Stick to one form of meditation and persist with it, and that actually made the lot of change for me.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. Really nice. I'd like to hop back onto the book Virtual Volunteer and ask you
Yeah.
the question, when you're doing online volunteering, and I've done volunteering myself, not online though. I can't really imagine what that looks like. What kind of volunteering do you do, or can a person do online?
Yeah, so like I mentioned, here in India, there are many students who struggle with English. So, so it's like for the non-profit which I which help this thing. So there's a curriculum created of 30 days of practice exercises, practice English exercises, kind of a thing. So where the student is given the question, the exercises, and also he has to write the answers. So all you need to do is you need to call him, and then when the student tells the answers, you need to validate it whether he's doing it right or wrong. So if he's doing it wrong, you also have to explain him like what is the wrong thing which you have done. So what, why you are doing it wrong. So that is called speak up, and how you improve on your language. So that is the first thing. And definitely there are some other volunteering which I did online, which is a one-on-one, just like you and I am having a conversation. So I used to have a conversation with mentee on different topics like life or the career, how to prepare for an interview, or like how to manage time. So if someone is struggling, they talk like what is it they're struggling with, and how you can so you can give those tidbits of advice to them on how you can improve. So those are the virtual volunteering I have done.
Okay. All right. Well, you've answered that question so eloquently that I can only imagine that you're successful at this, helping people get part of the English system and prepare them for getting a good job, which is also very important for everybody to make enough
Yeah.
money to survive. Like, absolutely. Well, so you incorporate two books into one, Virtual Volunteer and your 20 daily practices to improve English. How do you let people know that this is what you do? Do you have a website?
Yeah, I do have a website, but on my website, primarily concentrate on talking about insomnia, and I help people struggling with sleep issues get over it, because this is something which yeah, initially I started off with volunteering, but after my struggle, and I felt that this is something where I can add value, and most of my social media and also my website is concentrated and focused on uh, the helping people overcome sleeping issues.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And you mentioned that Virtual Volunteer is available in paperback in India, but not here in North America. What's the reason why you don't have paperback available here?
So, John, like I am sure you would agree, like previously, people used to prefer paperback versions, kind of a thing. Now with technology, I mean, people of uh, my generation, and of course the next generation, which if you go to the millennials, hardly any people prefer paperbacks. So people are used to read on Kindles. So, and of course, you need not even have a Kindle. You can just install an app called Kindle that's available on your Play Store, and of course on the Apple Store. So you can install the Kindle app, and you can directly read those books. You need not even buy the books. So since all my books are available on Kindle Unlimited, so if you have a Kindle Unlimited subscription, they're virtually free.
Hmm.
So most of the people that I know read on Kindle. So that's the reason where I haven't gone and taken the effort of publishing it. So yeah, I have only published my Sleepless Nights because I feel like I said, this is something which is close to my heart, and that's the reason why I've gone and taken the extra step only for that book.
Okay. I guess that was kind of a boomer question because I don't really do ebooks, but now you've got me intrigued. I'm going to download an app to my laptop so I can maybe look at Kindle. I disregard Kindle because I don't have that device and I have no intention of purchasing such a device. But yeah, I'll
No, not.
download the app. Yeah, I'll
I
check it out.
don't think I don't think it's available on the laptop, but
Okay,
on your iPhone you can definitely get it.
I see. Okay, well, I don't have one of those either. Bit
So you
ironic
would have
since
an
since
Android
I
phone,
operate
right?
all this complicated technology, but when it comes down to the more social apps, I tend to have fallen way behind. But that's just my age, I suppose. It was fascinating stuff.
You should be having an Android phone at least.
I do, I do. I use it as a
Yeah.
phone and a camera. Great camera, by the way.
Uh, so from the Android phone also you will get that thing.
Yeah, not sure I want to read a book on a phone, but that's just me. You know, it's a generational thing. You're
Yeah,
appealing
I
to
totally agree.
people who aren't my age, I guess.
Yes, yes, I totally agree with you.
Okay. All right. Well, and I was going to say, well, I may as well ask, how are sales despite the fact that you offer so much for free? How does that work out for you?
Uh, no, so the way uh, it happens on Kindle is it works on the number of pages that are being read. So that is how it works as far as that. So yeah, how are sales? If you really ask me, no, yeah, I have been getting sales here and then, but it's not very much like a normal book kind of a thing. So I need to put in all that effort to publicize the book and all those stuff. Yeah.
Hmm. And well, let's go back to the virtual volunteer. When did you
Yeah.
start writing it? It was in 2020. I imagine you were influenced by the social distancing, and something crossed your mind saying, no, we can still get together online. How long did it take for you to write that book?
Okay, so actually, virtual volunteer was something which, yeah. So I joined a challenge called "Become a Published Author in 5 days."
Oh,
So actually, that as part of that challenge, I've created that book. So so that's why that book is only on Kindle. I haven't gone and made that effort to create the paperback. So and but my second book called My Sleepless Nights, I took a lot of time. So I actually it took more than 6 months to finish that. And coming to the third book, it took approximately 1 month to do that, because since I had a lot of material with me, so it was just assimilation of the content from here and there, and working on that. So
okay. Well, good for you. Do you plan on writing any more books in the future?
uh, as of now, I'm not thinking of writing any books. So I'm planning on creating a path which is to help people, to coach people struggling with insomnia. So that is the
Okay,
plan. So that's where I'm putting my focus and energy on.
very nice. Very good. Seem like a very nice gentleman. Well, Manohar, anything else you want to add before we part ways?
Uh, Nothing as such,
Nothing.
John. I really loved having this conversation
Me
and
too.
got a lot of things to understand.
Me too. It was a pleasure meeting you, Manohar, and I wish you and your family all the best and all the success in for you helping other people. I think it's wonderful.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you for watching. And before you go, if you like what I do here on Tell Me About Your Book, then consider subscribing, hitting that like button, and don't forget to ring that bell for future notifications. You can even leave a comment. All of that really helps in recommending this channel to a larger audience. And if you are an author, I would love to speak with you about your book. Until next time, keep on writing and be kind to one another.